Masinya Attorneys Incorporated, a boutique commercial and taxation law firm in Midrand, Johannesburg, South Africa. Strategic lawyers on point with more than 20 years of practice experience. We are professional, capable, and qualified.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me right here in Solomon's Temple. My name is Solomon Izanga Shams. It's so good to be with you again this week. I hope you are doing extremely well. How was your weekend? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Please, can you make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel that is Solomon's Temple? If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe to Solomon's Temple immediately. I would appreciate that. And also, do not forget to please follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me, Solomon Ashams, social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Please make sure you do that. Don't mind my dog. And please make sure you comment. Let us know where you're watching from, like Mama J, Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. She's saying hello, Uncle Solomon. Kunjani, Uncle. Maboko is saying hello, Uncle. Richard from Zambia, Lusaka. Good morning to you also. Good morning to everyone who's tuning. So in Nigeria, we have a saying that goes like, wonders shall never end. And that's just a fact. I mean, when you thought you've seen everything, you will see more things. But, you know, whatever we hear, whatever we see a pastor do, we have to go to scripture and check scripture and ask ourselves, is that biblical? Especially when it's coming from a clergy, from a man of God, from a pastor, from a prophet. We must not take everything as the gospel truth, because every human being has a tendency to be in error. Your prophet has a tendency to be in error. No one is perfect. So we need to be accountable to each other. We need to be transparent to each other, and we need to critique each other. That is very, very important. So there's this story that came out of the Democratic Republic of Congo when a pastor named Zagabe Chilunza married 4 virgins the same day, the same time. 4 women virgins the same day. And by the way, he had a wife already. So this is his 5th wife. Why is that though? You know, listen, when people make decisions, right, and we don't agree with it, they have the right to make the decision still. That's their decision. They have the right to make the decision, but that does not mean that that decision is right, especially here in a biblical context, when you are saying biblically is okay. Let me share the story a little bit and show you some of the photos. So this is Pastor Zagabe, Chilunza Zagabe, Democratic Republic of Congo. He got married to these 4 virgins on the same day. On the same day, he got married to all of them. And remember, I told you he was married already. He has 4 wives. So this is like the parable of the 4 virgins, isn't it? Remember the parable of the 10 virgins in the Bible? And I wonder why he decided to marry or to choose virgins to marry them. How do you now choose to marry virgins at one go? I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before, to be honest with you. Because you yourself, you're not a virgin, and you had been married, or you are married already. So with this 4, add to his 1 already, that's 5 wives. Is there a reason why he got married to 4 virgins on the same day? Is there a reason why he's after virgins? Is it a cultural reason? Is it a diabolic reason? Or is it a biblical reason, like he tried to prove it? Because we need to ask all these questions. And this is what he said, right? Yeah, according to Afrimax English, the man of the cloth always shares scriptures from the Holy Book to prove polygamy isn't a sin. I have one wife already, and today I'm going to marry these four. They will join the first wife, he said on his wedding day. He's quite proud of his achievements, isn't it? So making it four wives. Making it five wives, rather. So this is them together here sitting, and you can see him. Some of the women they look a bit young. Three of them look quite younger because he seems to be a man like he may be in his 50s. I mean, the one looks like she's in her 30s, but the other three looks like they are in their 20s. What will push a man to target virgins to marry them? There are different reasons, because we've seen a lot of charlatans and false prophets lately targeting virgins in the church to sleep with them because of their own ritual. It's a sacrifice on the altar of Satan for fame and fortune. It's shocking that that is emanating from a church, from a so-called clergy pastor. Why do you think he got married to four virgins? I think he has an intention there. Is it just for a lustful reason? Is it just for cultural reasons? Is it just for reasons to feel good, to show his masculinity? Is it another form of patriarchy? Or is this guy, did he visit a witch doctor and went into a covenant that required him not just to sleep with virgins, but to have them as wives? So the sacrifice could be intense in the altar of Satan. These are questions that we need to ask. He tries to explain the fact that biblically it is okay to get married to so many different wives, like he did here. He claimed the idea of marrying more wives originated from the Bible. Jacob had many wives, Leah and Rachel, then Bilhah and Zipporah, 4 wives for one man, he said. Zagabi said he got saved in 1986. He's actually saved, people. So don't think this is a traditional man. He knew what getting born again and saved is all about. And during the wedding, while addressing the guests, he said, I'm glad to have 5 wives. And my problem with actually using Jacob and his wives was, first, this is in the Old Testament. Just because Jacob had 4 wives does not mean that God approved of it. We must be careful, because a biblical character is like saying Solomon had 700 wives and how many 100 concubines, and it's okay for me to do that. We must be careful. Just because it's in the Bible doesn't mean it's right. Just because a character in the Bible made the decision doesn't mean the decision is also okay with God. And here Jacob married 4 wives, but Zigabe is married 5 wives. So he went one above Jacob. So how is that? If he's following the footsteps of Jacob, why didn't he marry 4 wives? Like the Muslims who follow, the footsteps of Jacob. You can get married to 4 wives as a Muslim. That's the maximum that you can get married to. But here he went a step further and married 5. These 4 that he got married to on this day, and then there is another one that he had married before now. This is a pastor. A pastor. His name is Chulunza Zagabe in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think for me, the lesson here is we must be careful that when we see something in the Bible, you can take the scriptures, the Bible, and make it whatever you want to. You can justify anything with the Bible. You can justify adultery with the Bible. You can justify jealousy with the Bible. You can justify anything with the Bible. We've seen people do it over and over again. You can justify polygamy with the Bible. But does that make it right? So we must be careful that we don't take scripture, we don't take certain texts in the scripture, we don't take certain characters, certain examples in the scripture, and justify our sin with it. Sin should not be justified. Sin should be repented of. Should bring it to God and ask for His grace for us to fight and to overcome. That's what sin is. Again, you have the right to get married to as many people as you have the right to do whatever you want to do with your life. God gave you that in freedom, in fact. Not the Constitution, not any. God gave you that scripture, that freedom. But you see, freedom without restraint endangers your life. Freedom without restraint will pull you into sin, into danger. That's what freedom does. Look at some nations around the world, like the US and Europe, the freedom that they have, and they have more freedom than we do. You know, God giving a lot of us freedom, but you see, in Africa, the thing is, our leaders have restricted the freedom that we should have. Some of them are afraid. False prophets and churches and whatever, they've restricted our freedom because they are afraid we might just go ballistics and begin to go into sin or whatever. But God has given us that freedom, and we have to choose to follow His ways, His principles. That is what is important. Patra say at least Jacob marriages can be traced from being duped to competition by his 2 wives for children. Exactly. Jacob didn't intend to marry 4 wives. Now, this pastor is claiming that Jacob married 4 wives. That was not Jacob's intention. What happened between Jacob and Laban? There was manipulation within that family. He was manipulated into ending up with this number. So we must be careful. Church girl is saying, end times. Did the parents consent? Some things are incomprehensible. That's right. We must keep questioning these things. We must never. Mandisa, good to have you here. Also, Paco, good to have you here. Chiboy, yes, he's a Congolese pastor. The Congolese pastor. Mama J says, this one is not a servant of God. He married these 4 women for ritual purposes. Simple. People, let's keep questioning things. Whatever we see, no matter how powerful the person who is making that decision, let's question it. That's what we should do. That's how we can find truth and keep working with truth. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please make sure you subscribe, and I will see you again later.